everybody. My name's Mark Hilliard. I'm a master here in the cohort. And this afternoon we're going to do a introductory tutorial on getting started in selling your photography as art and ways to make money with your work. And there's all kinds of things that you can do. Some are more advanced than others. We're going to just go over the preliminary introduction to this and give you some ideas on where to start and how to start. And just because I love you all so very much, I have made another directory on our group drive that's called Selling Your Photos. And everything that we're going to talk about today, there are files there to assist you. To start with, I would like to say that if you have not sold your work in galleries or in shows or online, the easiest thing for you to do to start out in sales is to put together a portfolio of 20 to 40 images and then pick your 10 best and then go out and approach local galleries. Don't choose a high-end fine art gallery for your first one. What you want to do is get into, say, a co-op gallery, which is a really good place to start out. A co-op gallery is a gallery that's co-owned by all of the members. And apart from co-owning the gallery, there are certain responsibilities that you have to uphold as part of your membership into that. First and foremost is you usually have to work a day or two a month, depending upon how many members there are in the co-op. Some co-ops are highly successful, some aren't, and that is all dependent upon the location where the fit is, whether it gets a good crowd. I am a member of a co-op gallery in Georgetown, South Carolina, that has 22 members. It's located right on Front Street, and it's very, very high traffic and full of vacationers, and it's good sales year-round. So now, how do you get into a co-op? Let's start off with these basic things. Most co-ops will require that you fill out an application. You need to go down to the gallery, request an application, take a couple samples of your artwork with you, and ask for a copy of the contract that you're going to have to sign in joining. Okay. Most are going to take a 20% commission, and they're going to charge you a wall rental space. The one I'm in, I pay $60 a month for my wall space, which is basically 10 linear feet. It's not a lot of room, so you have to choose carefully the images that you're going to hang in a co-op. And then I pay a 20% commission rate on top of that. It is a very well-maintained gallery. Look at the gallery's street location. Sit back, watch the people, whether they go in and out of the gallery. Walk into the gallery before you approach them. Look around. Is it maintained nicely? Is it clean? Is the carpeting fresh? Is the paint fresh? Okay. Once you decide that it might be a place that you're interested in selling at, then you need to approach them and ask for an application and a copy of the contract so that you can see what you're signing up for. Most of the co-ops are going to charge you a one-time member fee. Mine was $300. There are others that will charge $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 depending on their location. For instance, down in the big city, down in Charleston, in the high arts area, up in New York, in San Francisco, places like that, co-ops are going to cost you a lot more money to join. But inverse to that amount that you pay out, you can reasonably expect to make at least that back monthly in sales. A well-run co-op gallery is very easy to become a member of. and provided that they're in a good location. Okay, and that's very important. And they get a good foot traffic in terms of people coming in and visiting every day. You're going to make your money back at that. I typically make between $3,000 and $1,000 a month in the Georgetown Gallery. I have enough room for about 15 pieces in my space, so I choose very carefully what I put in there. When I first got into galleries and I first started putting my artwork in galleries, I decided I was going to put my junk in it and see if I could sell my junk off because I didn't know what to do with it. And that was a self-destructive impulse at the very best. I no longer do that. I caution you not to fall into that trap like I did. Put your very best work in there. Now, I find that giclée prints gallery wrapped on canvas are my best sellers. I very, very, very seldom will ever frame a piece and put it in a gallery. I know lots of other photographers that do nothing but frames, and they have fairly good sales. But for me, it seems as though the canvas gallery wraps are the real big sell items that move very well for me. Experiment, do a mixture of frames and gallery wraps. You may even want to try the new glossy metal prints on aluminum. Although I do have to tell you that in certain areas of the country, they're in high demand. In other areas, you can't sell them at all. I had an artist in my gallery here in Paul's who put nothing but metal prints in, and he never sold a single item for the whole year he was in the gallery. You also need to make sure that you have a mixture of matted and unframed pieces wrapped in a plastic envelope for a low dollar sell amount. And typically what I do is I'll put 5x7 prints inside of an 8x10 mat and put them in a cellophane envelope from clearbags.com. Okay, and I will sell those for $15 to $20 a piece, depending on the gallery. Now it costs.
Those are Mark. Those are just printed on paper. The ones that are $10-15.
Yep, printed on glossy paper. Yes.
What do you use a gallery or do you have your own printers?
Oh no, I do my own printing.
Okay, and what about the canvas ones?
I do my own printing on everything. Nothing leaves my studio.
Did you say those were 5x6?
5x7.
5x7.
5x7 prints, matted out to 8x10, put them in a clear bag. They cost me $3 to $5 a piece to make, and I sell them for a minimum of $15.
How much is a printer like that?
To print that, it's going to cost you about 45 to 50 cents per image.
No. How much is the printer?
Oh, the printers are almost free. You can look at the rebates online. They're free.
They're almost free. What they get you is the ink.
The ink will kill you.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you.
Well, nonetheless, I've seen some at $1,000. I've seen some at $550. How much are we talking about?
If you go with an Epson system, you can get into it with a 17-inch printer for in the $300 to $400 range. That's going to do a really, really good job for you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and that's going to allow you to go up to about 17 inches in your maximum width. You can go into a higher output printer like the Epson 4800 to 4880, now the 4900. That's going to cost about $1,200. It takes roll-fed sheets, roll-fed canvas, roll-fed paper. It uses the new K3 ink set. The nice thing about it is it uses the larger ink cartridges. And the larger your ink supply, the less the ink costs per print.
Is that the one that's supposed to last like a year or something like that? Because I read something a little while ago that Epson is coming out
Well, it depends on how much you print. You can get up to 220 milliliters per cartridge, and it'll have 8 to 11 cartridges in it, depending on the model that you get. The cartridges are going to cost from $700 for, say, a 75 milliliter cartridge, up to about $370 for a 750 milliliter cartridge, and they take the various size cartridges. The more you pay for the larger cartridge up front, the less the ink costs overall. It actually cuts your costs to buy bigger cartridges.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. I print with a 7900 Epson printer, which is a 24-inch large format printer. And I typically put 350 milliliter cartridges in it that cost me right at about $200 a cartridge. It takes 11 cartridges. I will go through 8 to 10 complete cartridge sets a year, but I print a lot. And to be perfectly honest with you, it costs more to replace the ink set in the printer than it did to buy the printer with a starter ink set in it.
You're talking like $7,000 for.
No, I'm talking about $2,600 for the printer.
No, not the printer. The cartridges. You said
the cartridge. Yeah,
the a piece, and there's 11 of them.
Well, no, not 800. 200 for the middle size, $75 for the smaller size.
Oh, I thought you said 700.
Oh, they have 750 milliliter cartridges.
Okay, I misunderstood.
And those are like $350 a piece.
Okay.
Okay, so I mean, it's more than $3,500 to buy those 750 to totally fill your printer. And considering that the printer costs $2,600 with a set of 75 milliliter cartridges, you can see, as Rhonda had stated, that the cost is in the ink.
Right.
But they still charge a fairly hefty penny for the printers themselves. I get about 5 years out of each printer before I have to replace it. Okay. Because they do wear out. All right. But if you do your own printing, it's going to cost you less in the long run per item that you put out in the world. If you pay somebody else to do it, you're buying their printer for them.
Yeah, well, the online places are pretty expensive. I mean, no matter how you look at it, it's not cheap.
Yeah, and now when you throw into the fact that I'm running a true Giclée printing service with a closed-loop color-calibrated system, everything's ICC profiled from beginning to end, and I'm running what's known as a RIP, a raster image processor, instead of the Epson drivers. It changes how the ink sprays it changes how the printer sprays the ink. It can overspray millions of times and mix colors. It's highly archival. It does better printing, but there's a hefty cost involved in buying that piece of software. That's another $1,500 on top of the cost of the printer. Okay. But if you're just starting out, you don't have to think big like that. You know, if you can print an 8-inch wide print and do 8x12s, matted into 12x16, sell those for $40 a piece. It's going to cost you about $3 in print, ink, paper, matting, and envelopes, the clear bag, to wrap and get that ready to sell. Don't make a mistake that a lot of other people make. And when you're making these matted prints, invest in real foam core to put in behind it. Don't use another piece of mat board or use a piece of cardboard. That makes a flimsy print, and the people are going to go to the store and they're going to pick it up and they're going to do this, and it's going to wobble and shake, and they're going to say to themselves, oh my God, that is so cheap. I'm not buying that.
Do you cut your own mats and your own foam core, or do you?
Yes. Everything gets done in my studio. Nothing leaves. I even make my own stretcher bars. I have all of the machinery to make the wood stretcher bars and a joiner, and I have a V-nailer that nails them together, and it's I'm way beyond what a normal person would do.
And what do you charge again?
I charge 18 cents a square inch to print canvas prints in color and black and white, and for that price I include 2 coats of Giclée UV sealant, which costs about $100 a gallon.
Okay, no, the 8x12 that's matted into 12x16. You say you sell it for what?
$40.
Okay.
Okay. Don't make the mistake that everybody else makes. I'm starting out, so I'm gonna price my 8x12s. I'm gonna price those down at about $15. I'm not gonna make any money, and I'm gonna outsell everybody else. And ultimately, what happens? People come up to your booth and they look at what you're selling and they say, "Why is this so inexpensive? This must be garbage work." So don't make that mistake. Don't devalue your own work by pricing it below everybody else. Okay. Get yourself into some sort of a gallery to start with. I really like a co-op gallery because it's run by the owners. You all become an owner of the gallery. Every town has a co-op, usually associated with an art guild of some sort. Get in there, pay your monthly rental, and like I said, put 15 or 20 really nice prints out there. Put some in that are gallery wrapped. There are print services. Bay Photo out on the West Coast is very inexpensive for getting gallery wraps done.
They're actually down the street from me.
Okay. Yep. Get some canvas gallery wraps. Get a couple of frame pieces. Put in small matted prints, 5x7 matted into 8x10, and 8x12 matted to 12x16. Sell those for $15 for the small one and $40 for the large one. Your frame pieces should not be selling for anything less than $150 for for the same size, an 8x12 matted out to 12x16, framed in a nice frame and under glass. The back needs to be finished. You take craft paper, you put double-sided tape around the back edge of the frame. You put a solid piece of black craft paper across the back and seal the back of the frame. Tape on one of your business cards on the back, and price that, say, from $129 to $150 for that size. The bigger the piece, the more you should sell it for. A 16x20 piece should be about $200 to $225. Okay. Your gallery wraps, I do 12x12 inch gallery wraps on canvas. I sell those for $75 a piece. Those are my inexpensive items that I sell. I put those out on the wall so that people walk in that can't afford the big stuff and say, "Oh, I can afford that," and then they'll walk out with a couple. My next size up in gallery wraps is 19 inches by 31 inches. Those I sell for $250. Then I have panoramas that I do at 17 by 43 inches. Those sell for $300. Then I have my super panoramas that are 20 inches by 50 inches, and those sell for $395. I sell all of those all of the time in all of the galleries and stores that I'm in. I have trouble keeping the galleries filled. Okay? Now, there are other types of galleries. They are your higher-end galleries. Those types of galleries you just cannot walk into and say, "I want to be in your gallery." You need to send a letter of introduction. Okay. I'm going to share my desktop with you, and I'm going to show you some of these things. Okay. So let me do this real quick. Can you guys see my desktop okay?
Yep.
Not yet. Now
No?
we can.
Okay. All right. Here is a copy of my gallery introduction letter. This is what I send out. I do the research on the galleries. I visit them. I look at them online. I watch the people that walk in and out. I go in and I look at their pricing. If it looks like a gallery that I might be interested in, then I get a business card and I send this letter of introduction. I have put a copy of this letter in our group drive on our Canon page in a directory called Selling Your Images. This by no means is the only way to do it, but this is how I do it. This is how I introduce myself to a new gallery. And yes, I lay it on thick. Okay? I don't want to say that when after they're done reading the letter they feel dirty, but I schmooze them. Okay? I generally will send this out a month before I want to visit the gallery. If I don't hear back from them, then I will send a copy of this via mail rather than email. I send the first one out by email. About 2 weeks later, I'll send one out by postal service. Okay? And generally, I hear back within a few days of sending them. Not every gallery is going to accept you. Some are going to say that they're interested in you, and then they're going to make an appointment with you for you to bring in samples of your work. Don't take your matted pieces in. Take your best prepared, framed, and gallery wrap pieces. Take 3 or 4 pieces with you. Okay? You want to wow them not only with your photography, but you want to wow them by your presentation as well, in the framing and the glass, the back being finished, how you have signed your artwork. You want everything to leap out and grab them by the throat and say, bring me into your gallery. I am what you need to make money. Because while you want to make money by selling your artwork, they want to make money by selling your artwork too. Okay? So anyways, this letter's there. It's available for you. Okay? I am going to show you some images. Where did I put those? Must be up here. I'm such an airhead sometimes. I'm going to go into my Dropbox account and I'm going to go to Sunset River. Okay. This is one of my main galleries. Okay. This is 20 linear feet of wall space. This is how I have it set up. When the customer first walks in, he's going to notice immediately the big pieces. These are 20-inch by 50-inch gallery wraps that are panoramas that I have built as a montage. I've broken one image down into 3 component parts and done each one on a 20 by 50. This particular piece I sell for $1,185. And I have sold a dozen of them in the last 2 months. Okay. I also do individual panoramas over here. Okay, they're the same size. They're 20 by 50. And those I'm selling for $395 a piece. Okay, let's show you that There you go. Now you can see the other ones, all right? They take up a lot of space, and because they're big pieces and they take up a lot of space, that means you don't have a lot of room for other artwork. These pieces here are my 19 by 31 inch gallery wraps. These sell for $250. And these are my main bread and butter items. I sell more of these than everything else combined. I do fine art outdoor shows as well, and one of them that I do, it's a really good show for me. I take 50 of these images with me, and it's not uncommon for me to sell out. Okay? So I said I don't do very many frame pieces. Here are 2 frames that I've got in here.
How many of each photo do you keep on hand?
Usually 2. When I do a show, I will take 2 of everything with me of these big ones. The matted pieces, I will take about 5 of each of them. I will also sell a bunch of the matted pieces at the outdoor shows. We'll talk about the outdoor shows here in a little while. And they're not big sales, but you know, you do 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40 all day long, and it adds up at the end of each day.
And do you sell limited editions?
Not at all.
Okay.
Don't get caught in that game.
Okay.
Because this is photography, and we can make as many as we want. And I personally will not retire an image. And it really doesn't enhance the value of it. All right.
Oh, what's his name thinks so? What's his name? I forgot the guy's name.
Well, there's a lot of people that do that.
Peter Lick.
Lick, yeah.
Oh yeah, well.
I don't particularly care for him that much, and
Yeah.
Whatever. That's a different conversation. But
Yeah, these frame pieces are 11 by 14 inch images framed out into a 16 by 24 high dollar frame. These are very expensive frames. These are Van Dyke brown prints that I do in the darkroom, where I hand mix my own chemistry and I coat the paper and I expose it and I process it. And then they go into a 24 karat gold bath, where I take and replace the silver salts with gold salts. Each one of these images cost me right at $75, just the print part in chemistry.
And
Okay.
how does the customer care about that?
Oh yes, the people that know what they're looking at won't hesitate to pay the money. These are $900 per image. Okay, right here on the wall is a prepared text that tells exactly what they are and how they're made. You notice I only have 2 of those in this gallery. The chances of my selling these aren't that good unless the right person walks in. Okay? Now, the other wall of the gallery nope, not that one. I'm sorry, my eyes aren't that good anymore. These are the 12 by 12 canvas gallery wraps that I was telling you about. I put a few of those out at every gallery, and these I sell for $75 a piece. Believe it or not, I sell a lot of these. The people that come in and like my work but can't afford it here might find that I have the same one in a cropped down version in the 12 by 12, so I tend to sell a lot of those. Okay? So this is kind of how I set my gallery wall space up. When I have a piece that I want to highlight, like this montage, I put more open space between it and the others, so that it's kind of highlighted like this. A lot of galleries don't want you to overpopulate your wall space, and I understand from an artsy-fartsy point of view that having lots of room around each piece makes each piece stand out more. But I have learned over the years that those that have a better selection have better sales. Now, having said that, this is not a co-op gallery. Okay? As a rule, this gallery will not accept photographers. There are 2 photographers in this gallery, and this is a large gallery. This has about 30,000 square feet of space. And there are only 2 photographers in here. And the other photographer is a friend of mine, and she has a little 5-foot linear wall space, and that's all she gets. I was invited to be up front in the gallery because I sell. Before this, I had a little 10-foot linear wall space, and they just doubled me to a 20-foot linear wall space and moved me right up to the very front of the store. And they're highlighting my work in an ad campaign this next week.
If you have enough images, is it worth renting your own space?
Your own gallery?
Yeah.
Oh, God, that is such a nightmare. And the reason for that is that it requires you to sit there and work. So now this becomes your only income. Now, I have owned my own gallery for the last 9 years. Okay? And I've done exceptionally well at it. And I make a very good amount of money each year. After my expenses, I tend to clear about $50,000 to $60,000 in pure profits each year just for my gallery in Pawleys Island. But I have to be there every day.
What's your rent there, though?
My rent there is $1,800 to $2,200 a month, depending upon my utility bills.
Right.
And it's a lot of space, and I have 5 photographers in there, including myself. Now I have the lion's share of the space, but I still give a good amount of space to all of the other photographers, and I advertise. I have an electronic billboard that I put up. I advertise in monthly periodicals that come out in my local area that target the people that come in vacation in the Myrtle Beach area. I have a big road sign, okay, but I'm tired of it. Okay, so the gallery.
Are you in a tourist area?
Oh yeah. I live on Pawleys Island in the low country of South Carolina. Here it's broken into 2 tourist types per year. It's golfers in the fall, in the spring, and family vacationers the rest of the time. So yeah, we have a very good traffic flow. But I like to travel. I like to get out and shoot. Okay, and being tied to a gallery, I'm done with. I am going to put all of my work in other people's galleries. I'm going to pay their commission rate. I'm going to pay their wall rate. I will raise my prices accordingly to recoup it. And I'm going to go in 6 or 7 galleries around a couple of cities around the Myrtle Beach area, and I'll pay other people to sell my work for me now. Okay? So it's important that each of you put yourself in at least 2 galleries. Don't let them be close together. They need to be at least 30 miles apart or in another town even, okay? Don't expect big sales off the starting line. but you might be pleasantly surprised, okay? And even if you just, when you're starting out, if you just start to make back the money you've invested in the costs for the gallery in terms of rent, the costs of the images that you create in printing and framing, okay, transportation to get them to the galleries. This is the very first thing that you need to do. You need to get in at least 2 galleries. One of them needs to be a co-op gallery if you've got one, because that keeps your costs much lower. Study the galleries.
How do you find co-op galleries?
You take the time and you visit these galleries in your area. Okay, go in and talk to the owners. You will find co-ops. Here in the Myrtle Beach area, there's at least 6 co-ops that I know of. Only one that I'm in. Okay, but there are 2 or 3 others that that people sell very well at. Okay. Right. Everybody needs to get into a gallery or 2. Don't hang your work for free in restaurants. Number one, it costs you money to make the work, and they very rarely sell. You're giving the the owner of the restaurant free artwork with very little return on your money.
That's something I would never do here.
Okay. Yeah, don't get caught up in that. Once you've established yourself in the gallery and you start to see which of your images sell, then it's time to start thinking about doing outdoor art shows. 10 years ago, I was doing 20 art shows a year, and I would not consider an art show to be successful unless I sold at least $1,000 a day. I never, ever went to one-day shows because setup and teardown is a pain in the butt.
Okay, question for you on outdoor shows, which I've been looking at. Would you recommend that we do it like a co-op situation where maybe there's 3 of us?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Okay.
Oh, God, no.
Okay.
Buy your own tent.
All
I
right.
think that was a no.
You go to
that?
Goose
Yeah. Those tents are hard to put up.
No, they're called easy ups for a reason.
Yeah, well.
Okay.
Not when the next storm comes through. I have one.
All right, hang on. You're jumping the gun, Pam.
I had one and it tore up.
Sam sells the easy up tents. They're 10 by 10 foot tents. They come with zip-on side. Okay.
Okay.
And you have to design some way to hold art on the walls. A lot of people buy grid walls from store supply companies for about $12 for a 2-foot by 6-foot high wall. And then you buy the tie wraps. Everybody know what a tie wrap is?
Yeah. I mean, oh.
You buy tie wraps and you tie wrap them together around the periphery of your tent on the inside and leave a 2-foot space open in the back to walk out the back, and leave a then on the front have a 2-foot section of grid wall coming out and a 2-foot section on the other side. In the center, have that all open for people to walk into the tent, and then make a 4-grid mat wall in the center in the shape of an H. 2-foot wall on each end, 4 foot in between for an H. And then you buy yourself baskets, grid wall baskets that attach to grid walls, and this is where you display your mats in the center of the tent. Along the outside edge is where you have your hanging artwork. Stay away from framed artworks at outdoor shows. Moisture gets inside the sandwich of the glass and the picture and the foam core, and it will destroy it. Bugs crawl in there, and then it destroys it. Your best friend at outdoor shows are your gallery wraps, and they sell very, very well. There is a organization called ZAPP, ZAPP.org.
They sell all that, don't they?
No, they are art show. They are a art show clearinghouse where you apply to art shows.
Oh, those. Okay.
Yeah, and you can apply to art shows all over the country on ZAPP.
Okay.
Or you can apply to art shows just in your area, and they will tell you how many people are in attendance, how many people come to visit, how many artists they have, what the costs are. So the tent's going to cost you about $200.
Zap.org gives a warning that it's a phishing site.
All right, maybe it's zap.com.
Okay.
Okay, I'll look it up in a minute. Okay. But this is where I applied for my shows at. So you're going to need $200 for the tent, another $200 in grid walls, or some apparatus to hold your artwork on the walls. Okay? You're going to have to buy big, what I use, you guys are familiar with the doggy screws that you buy to screw into the ground to hook a dog to out in your yard?
No such thing.
You know what it is?
Yeah.
You don't do that to a dog.
Of course not, but you know what the doggy screw is?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Okay, you buy 4 of those, and on the inside of the tent in each corner you screw one down into the ground, and then you go buy 4 of those ratcheting tie-down straps for pickup trucks. Front of the tent to that doggy screw in the ground to hold that tent down. Now, some shows will not allow you to do that. They won't let you put holes in the ground. Some shows are on concrete. Go out and buy a Great B and put a big screw in it with big washers and fill it up with concrete. And then you hang those from each corner. Okay? And then you add on the weight of the grid walls that are tie wrapped to each leg. You have a fairly hefty weighted tent that's going to hold itself down. I've done art shows now for about 15 years. And like I said, I was doing up to 20 a year.
So what areas did you find you liked?
You attend your first show, and you ask the other artists what shows are producers for them.
Well, back in the day when I was living in California, Beverly Hills was one, Palm Springs was another, Laguna was another one on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
But those were hard to get in.
Yeah, and a lot of the shows they're juried. For instance, there's a show here. It's my home show. It's called Atalaya. They charge the customers $15 a piece just to get into the show. So needless to say, the 50,000 customers that come over the course of the weekend are motivated buyers. It was nothing for me in that 3-day show to have $10,000 in sales. Atalaya is my biggest show of the year, and I still do that. I no longer do 20 shows a year. I do 2. I do Atalaya, and I do one in Brook Green Gardens.
Where is that, Atalaya?
And that one is in Murrells Inlet, South Carolina, in the Huntington Beach State Park in the Atalaya Capitol.
There's a book called The Artist Fair. I think that's what it's called. And their online listing, Art Fair Insiders,
Okay.
and they will give you a list of all the shows throughout the United States. And if you get on their website, you can communicate with other people who do it as well.
Yeah.
And some people live through that. They just travel from show to show, 365.
Yeah, see, I couldn't do that. And let me be honest with you about shows. Shows are where you're going to make your biggest sales. I don't count a show successful unless I make a minimum of $1,000 a day in sales. Okay? Shows are hard They're hard to set up. They're hard to tear down. They're hot. They're rainy. They're cold. They are miserable sitting there for 10 to 12 hours a day, wondering, how am I going to get to the bathroom? Where am I going to get food? Now, your well-organized shows will have people that tent set. They will have an artist center with food and water. Okay, they will have artist restrooms. Your top shows will have these. Okay, you will find that you will have a lot of shows in your hometown that are called Art in the Park.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very good place to start for your first show. Apply to an Art in the Park in your hometown and do it. Have at least 40 discrete photographs, 40 scenes. He who has the most amount of various subject matter sells the most.
Because there's something for everybody.
There's something for everybody.
Gotcha.
Inventory is everything. Get your husband.
What sizes do you sell the most?
Believe it or not, it's my 19 by 31 inch gallery wraps. I take 50 of those with me to every show I do. Now
19 by 13?
19 by 31.
What do you pack them in?
I went out at Home Depot and I bought great big construction workers' toolboxes on wheels that are made out of black heavy plastic. They're waterproof. They're very light, they're very strong, and each one of those boxes will hold 13 of those gallery wraps that I was telling you about. Now ask me, why hasn't anybody asked me, why 19 by 31, Mark? Why did you choose that size?
That is a good question. I thought you were just...
That was my next question, but go
I
ahead.
thought you'd get to that in a second when you
That's a
finish with
weird
the other.
size.
Yes, it is, but guess what? It's the size that will fit inside that black box.
Something as simple as that, huh?
And I call
Based
that
on the
size.
box.
I call that size my box prints.
What's
I
the
have-
depth on the framing, Mark?
Okay, gallery wrap. Now I'm not talking framing. I'm talking gallery wrap, which is stretched around the outside of the frame.
Right.
I use. I buy my gallery wrap stock wood in 12-foot lengths from a company called G&G Molding in North Carolina.
That's on the list you have in the folder, right?
No, that's not. I haven't put vendors in there yet.
Okay, but you will.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that is, you can turn it on one. All right, it's rectangular. Okay, if you have it one side, one way, the side height of that's the gallery wrap off the wall is 1.5 inches. If you rotate it this way, it's 1.75 inches. It's made to work both ways. I buy those in 12-foot lengths. I have to buy a minimum of 400 feet at once. Then I bought a miter saw to miter them. Okay, and then I bought a foot-powered V-nailer to build them. Each frame costs
Would
me
you
right
happen
at-
to have videos of these procedures?
No.
Not
This is
yet.
this is something I have never taught anybody, because these are trade secrets to my success. Okay?
Well, where do we go to learn about this stuff?
You guys are going to get this. Okay, I'm going to give all of this to you guys.
Okay.
Okay, there are no trade secrets between you and I. The V-nailer cost you $1,000.
But if you want to watch him do it, you have to go to Pawleys Island.
Yeah, you can come down here. I'll give you one-on-one time.
Nailer is $1,000.
Yep, a V-nailer.
It's a nail gun.
It's not a gun. It's a table that you lay the pieces on, and then you press down on a foot pedal, and it raises a device that shoots V-shaped nails into them, and it joins the four pieces of the frame together.
That's called a nailer.
It's called a V-nailer.
V-nailer.
And you can use this for building gallery wrap frames or regular picture frames. This is what they use to join picture frames as well. Okay. Now you can buy these on the used market because there's framing shops failing all the time, and you can find these for $300, $400, $500. Or you can go to Bay Photo and pay the $35 a piece and not have to spend $3,000 in equipment to build your own frames, and not have to spend $2,600 on the printer, and $120 for each roll of canvas, and be a much happier, less stressed person.
So if you do that, I mean, you can get that back for what you sell it for, can't you?
Yes.
I mean,
Pretty much.
I understand the pleasure, you know, and you know, working with this stuff. I get that. You're talking about $5,000 just to get started.
Yep. And you want to know something? I paid $2,600 for the printer. I paid $1,500 for the RIP to sit on top of the printer, and it paid for itself the first year I owned it. Because not only did I print for myself, but I started printing for everybody else. So now, as I close this gallery's closing that I own in December, I will sell through everybody else's gallery. I'll pay them their commission and let them sell for me. But I am very successful at G-Clay printing and running this printing service. So I have built a studio in a commercial space where I will continue to print. I have my dark room. I can make my Van Dyke Browns, my platinum and palladium prints. And I can be happy with that. It's not a storefront per se. You know what I mean? So I'm going to continue to do that. But what I'm saying is that you should start off paying somebody else to build your prints for you, like Bay Photo or one of the other millions of companies that are out there. Find out if you like this type of work. Find out if you can be successful at it. As you start making money, and you will be successful, okay? As you start making money, then you can think about starting to take on the job of creating your own prints yourself. That will cut the cost of creating the prints to a fraction of what you do at first when you're paying someone else to do it.
You know, when I look at Bay Photo and other printers, to be honest with you, it's very confusing, you know, because they have canvas this and they have canvas that, and they have, you know, quarter-inch this and a half-inch. I mean, and it's extremely confusing as to what would be the right, you know, like to get what you want.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you're right. It is confusing. But you're lucky. We have this group of people in the cohort, and we can talk about this any time you want. Okay?
All right.
I will share with you. The next time we do a hangout, I will bring a gallery wrap frame with me. Stretching the canvas is easy to do. There are videos online that show you how to do that. Printing the canvas is a bit harder. Printing is an art, okay? And it's taken me years to become proficient at it. Now to where what I get out of the camera is what I get on my my canvas. I don't have wasted canvas anymore because it doesn't look like I thought it should look. but it took me years to get there. And you too can master that.
Are glass prints becoming more popular? Because I listen to a lot of podcasts, and almost every other podcast has a commercial for Fracture, which makes glass 8x10. I guess you can get bigger ones, glass prints, and of course they talk it up like it's the next best thing to sliced bread. But are they really getting popular? Do people really want those?
I had someone who really wanted
Yeah.
one, and they were willing to pay for it. But they specifically called me and said, I want this specific image on glass.
I have not. And how many times has that happened to you?
3, same guy.
Well, there's a good thing in repeat customers.
Mm-hmm.
Glass prints are beautiful. Plastic are beautiful. They're doing on glass, they're doing on plexiglass, but you have to see them to believe.
Okay, I'm not hearing
It's going to
you.
be very.
You're breaking up, Mark. We're
not hearing you.
We can't. We're not really hearing you. You sound like you're underwater.
And your video is going in and out.
All right, I just lowered my bandwidth.
It's a little better.
Yeah, maybe this will help. So unfortunately, it's a Sunday night, and all the kids are streaming their internet games and their music.
Yeah.
Now, you were saying something about the different format. You were talking about the printing on different things like
Metal
plexiglass.
and plexiglass.
Well, I did a sample on the metal. I love that, but I think it's for a particular type of photograph.
Mm-hmm. And for a particular type of customer. A metal print is more contemporary. So a customer that has a contemporary decorations in their home will find that more appealing.
Loft, modern style living.
Yes.
Steel and chrome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are things that you will learn as you go on. Go to these art shows, walk into the booths, talk to the artists, single out the photographers, look and see how they do it. Get some knowledge before you start, before you invest some money, okay? So we've talked about galleries, art shows. Art shows are the big dollar items, okay? Now, let's talk about online sales. Okay. There are some. I know people that try and sell on eBay. I know people that try and sell on Facebook. There's an arts community called Etsy. There are people that sell on Etsy. Some are successful, some are not. Buying online is a difficult prospect because your customer can't really get a feel for what it is you're selling on a computer screen. Now, that being said, I'm going to show you all something here. Let me share my screen again. There is a company called Turning Art, turningart.com. And this company is different from the other online companies because what they do is they rent art to people in their homes and to businesses. And every 3 months, they cycle through new images. The customer returns the old image and they send them a new image. The customers that find an image that they really like can purchase it. If they purchase it, you make more money, but you also make money in the rental of your artwork. It's turningart.com. This is their webpage. You can apply. They have very specific requirements about the resolution and the size of each image that you send. All right. And you can make money at this. I'm going to log in. I have an account with this company. I'm going to log in if I can. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
All right. All right. This is my account on Turning Art. I have 241 images uploaded. Here they are. Okay. This is the price of each image should a customer wish to buy it. Okay, it tells me how many times each image has been viewed, how many of them are in people's homes, how many of them are sold. Okay, and as we go down, more images, okay. This map shows every place where I have one of my images in a business or a home. All right.
So how much? How much is it?
I have been with this company for about a year, and I typically make between $50 and $100 a month from this company every single month. If I go down here to the bottom, right now it says they owe me $48.89 for this month. Year to date, I have sold $468.96. Okay. Investigate this, because this is a very novel approach to selling your artwork. It's
So,
just
do you just upload your digital files and then they create the artwork for you, or?
Yes, they do it all. They print them,
And they send it out?
they deliver them. When the person buys the artwork, they print the artwork and pay me a much bigger commission.
Gotcha.
Is it a paid subscription for you?
It is not. It is no cost to me whatsoever.
Okay.
Do they charge you a commission fee?
They do not. They
How do they make
offer
money?
me a percentage of the rental fees. Pardon?
Okay. Did you hear what I asked you?
No.
Oh, I said, how does the company make money if they don't charge you a commission fee?
Well, let's say that a person pays $19 a month for a piece of artwork to go to their home.
Mm-hmm.
70% of that goes to the company, and 30% goes to me.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so they do basically.
Built
Yeah,
in.
they make their money. But it is a good way to get out there and sell images online and have somebody else do the marketing for you.
Have you ever heard of artamerica.com?
I have.
And that one you haven't had much success with?
I haven't done anything with it. That doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. There's lots of online companies. What I'm saying is explore them. It doesn't cost you anything to put your stuff up online, especially with a company like Turning Art. Okay? Basically, you're paying them through their fees to their customers, and you get a small residual percentage back on every image that's rented and every image that's sold. You know, even if you only get in $50 a month, every month, that still adds up for you having not to do anything except upload a bunch of images.
Sure.
Okay. I have 241 images there. They limit you to uploading 20 at a time. So upload 20. Wait a month, upload 20 more. Wait 2 weeks, upload 20 more. Wait a week, upload 20 more. And then every week from there on out, upload 20. Till you get up between 200 and 300 images. The more you have, the better the selection, the better your sales are going to be. Okay? So these are the 3 basic ways to get started making money. Now there are more advanced things that we can do down the line, but I just wanted to give you this base introduction. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any questions? No? Okay. Well, that's fair. This was meant to be nothing more than an introduction to this. We will do more in the future where we get into various specifics, where we will talk about printing, okay, where we will talk about other vendors out there doing printing for you, how best to ship images, having your own gallery versus paying for somebody else's gallery, and so forth, okay? So these are the things that we will go into these deeper and deeper. But I hope this gave you enough information for you to get started.
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I appreciate you spending your time with me. I'm going to stop the broadcast.